What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Town Hall. And everyone there is making weird faces, and honestly, I can't keep a straight face, but this is Town Hall episode number 28. I'm not really, I think everyone was dancing at that moment. That's one way.
I was doing Thriller.
We didn't have chat. We had to entertain ourselves with dance.
Yeah, we are. This is our first ever offline recorded Town Hall. Twitch TV is currently down, so we're being forced to record offline. But that is fine. If this is your first time tuning into the show, this is the Heroes of the Storm podcast, where we focus largely around the competitive community, giving you all the news and pretty much all the information surrounding Heroes of the Storm. As always, I have my wonderful, I guess I was going to say list of hosts. It's not actually a good word.
Cadre.
Oh my gosh, these are great words. But we have an excellent guest here tonight. We have Careion. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm terrible at pronunciation. You are in fact the team captain of Mouse Sports, one of the newest, arguably maybe the newest team in the Heroes of the Storm community.
Yes, I think so. It was announced 5 days ago.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your team?
Okay, about myself, I am 24 years old, living in Germany. Currently in my last year at college, becoming a high school teacher. And playing Heroes of the Storm since April. With my team, which was formerly known as the German team Coin Flip. Now we are picked up by Mouse Sports just this week, or last week. Yeah, and my team, they're all Germans, so yeah.
How are you going to work Heroes into your curriculum?
What?
How are you going to work Heroes into teaching high school students? Like, are you going to bring out Heroes and be like, listen, here's 5, and here's another 5, and that equals 10?
He said high school. Come on.
High school, yeah.
Listen, I don't know what's going on in Europe.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. But I'm also coaching, maybe coaching basketball, so...
oh, wow.
Okay, if you're standing here blocked, yeah, you know.
So you're a pretty guy, so that's what you're doing right now, but why don't you tell us a little bit about your history with esports? Have you been playing games competitively for a long time?
Kevin, no, you called him a pretty guy. Why'd you call him pretty?
I thought I heard that was like a...
I am, Zoya, I am.
No, you are...
Do you see that beard? He's a pretty guy.
You are pretty. I'm just curious as why those were his words.
Oh my god, this is a local recording. I can just stop this and start over right now.
No. This is
and everyone will hear this.
He's a pretty guy. You're very good looking, man. Let's move on.
Now, moving on, tell us a little bit about your history and your past with competitive gaming, or just gaming in general.
Okay, I started with Warcraft 3 about 10 or 11 years ago, at the age of 13. Played it a little bit competitively, like semi-professional, played for some good teams. One team later to be known as IS Virtual Gaming,
okay,
which was pretty big in Europe, at least. Also picking up some Koreans later. Then I dived into World of Warcraft and played it on was progress rating a lot of time. Then
I like how he just has that so down, just plays it down. Some time passed,
I added up my WoW time, and it's actually over a full year of actual gameplay, which is...
Yep.
I don't even want to I have that
World of Warcraft.
I don't even want to go into my WoW time. It's cool.
Yeah.
My WoW time could actually be the same, but...
I think after the first year that I played World of Warcraft, I looked at it, and my playtime on my level 60 mage at the time was like 100 days.
Okay.
I played a lot of frickin' WoW when I was in high school.
Yes.
Anyway, continue on.
I played WoW in a progress guild, was progress rating, got some, not Europe or German first skills, but at least some server firsts, also playing a lot of Arena. Got to 2.3k rating in Free vs. 3. I then stopped just before Cataclysm came out. Played a little bit of StarCraft, but not that much competitively. And dived more into the management stuff. For example, I was manager on the German national team for StarCraft 2.
Wow.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Not right on, but later, a little bit later. yeah, and then I played a little bit of Hearthstone, but only won some German national cups. Yeah, but Hearthstone is too much RNG, so...
You don't like it?
No.
No?
not really. Not anymore. It's cool for fun when you're just sitting at college or university and you have some free time. You could take out your tablet or your laptop and play 1 or 2 rounds of Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's what it's great for.
Yeah, but I don't like it on a competitive basis.
So, on that note, why Heroes of the Storm? I mean, it sounds like you've been playing Blizzard games for a very long time.
Yes, I grew up with Blizzard games. My father, I was sitting on my father's lap when he was playing Lost Vikings and
man!
Oh wow, that's old school.
That's awesome.
More OG than we are.
This was like 20 years ago, and yeah. You also played a little bit of Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, and even tried StarCraft and Brood War. But yeah, then you stopped gaming, and it was my turn.
Oh,
and now you're taking on your own Heroes of the Storm team, so congratulations, man. That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
That's awesome, and I bet you're pretty stoked for the Lost Vikings once they make it into the game, because...
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, you are our guest this week, but we have our normal list of hosts here, and Jared, why don't you give us a brief intro and tell us what's been up with you?
Well, not much. I mean, I got to cast, which we'll talk about later, but I got to cast Day 1 of ESV's League, which was a lot of fun. Got to cast a little bit with Kevin, which we haven't done in forever. A little bit of history between the two of us. We've been casting for 2, maybe 3 years together now, and we casted a lot together. We've cast multiple Dream Hacks, MLGs, just everything together, and it felt good to actually get to cast with Kev again. So that was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
And I guess we'll announce it later, but Kev and I are working on a project that's been really fun to do in the behind the scenes, and yeah, I mean, nothing's really changed. You know, just got to cast a bit, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I'm pretty happy to be doing Town Hall. I love this show. You guys are fun.
Kevo?
Yeah, the same thing. You know, I got to commentate Heroes of the Storm live last night to, 600 some viewers, so I'm pretty much sitting on cloud 9 from that. However, I did make some terrible food choices today, and I regret every single action that led up to those food choices. And yeah, now I just regret everything. But past that, I'm great. I'm happy. I want to do more Heroes of the Storm. That's what I'm happy about right now.
I think we all feel that way. Cooby?
I played way too much Street Fighter this weekend. I went to a tournament on Friday and a tournament on Saturday. It was probably like almost 48 hours straight of Street Fighter. Like, no joke. I had like people. Oh, Cooby's cat. Yeah, it was like almost 48 straight hours of Street Fighter.
Oh my god.
There was some sleeping in the middle of it. It was insane. So now, since I returned from that, I've just been like catching up on everything Heroes, watching all the tournaments that have been happening. It's been awesome. So, yeah.
Well, I have some news on my end. This is going to be the last show in this apartment, this beautiful room with my nerdy Heroes posters right there.
Rip.
I am officially leaving New York. I am no longer with MLG. I'm pursuing new things, so you can expect to see a ton of Hero stuff from me moving forward. We'll talk about that at the post show. But today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We got our interview, which we kind of already did with Careion. And we got our...
Careion.
Oh, no, I have good questions.
Careion. Okay, Careion.
Think of Careion.
All right.
Aeon.
We'll do some more. All right. I always butcher our guest name, so get used to it. All right. We're going to do an Uther deep dive with him, and then we got our recap of ESV Day 1, which was hosted by Jerry. He did the production, he did casting. We had Kev on there, we had Duck Train and Caldor, and he had some interviews too. I saw Idra got interviewed. And Dunk. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened. Yesterday was like, what, over 4 hours, I believe?
It was close to 6 hours.
Oh my god.
It was a lot.
I slept a lot. It was a long day.
That's a long day. We got Cooby's questions, and then we have a PAX Prime preview, because PAX Prime is finally happening this weekend. We've been talking about it on the show for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're finally going to get to see more. I mean, we saw them at Gamescom, and you are from Germany, Careion. Did you happen to go to Gamescom?
Yes, we were at Gamescom, the whole team. We actually got interviewed by Blizzard and appeared in their live stream for, I think, 2 minutes.
That's pretty cool.
I saw your guys' pictures with Rocket.
Yes. We got interviewed by him.
CM Rocket, yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. So did you guys get to play the new characters? I mean, we're going to talk about that later in the show, but I want to talk to you about it right now, honestly.
I personally didn't have a chance to check out the new heroes.
No.
My teammates had the chance to play them because when we got into the booth to play, we were actually 11 persons. And someone, couldn't
you drew
play.
the short straw?
Oh no.
Yeah, I drew a short straw, but this was okay. I was just standing there with Blizzard, with the German Blizzard community manager, and small talk with him a little bit.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So, of your teammates, who did they think was the most fun? Did they try everyone? They only play once. I mean, what were their thoughts?
They played all of it. Actually, our tank player is also. We are working for a German fan page of Heroes of the Storm, and we also have a wiki, like Heroes Wikipedia, where we put all the heroes' abilities in it. And I think he played all 3 heroes multiple times just to get all the abilities and all the tool tips, everything. And I think he said Esmodan is the most fun of them.
Wow.
Oh, I'm so hyped
that's
for
who
him.
That's who I'm excited for.
Me
We
too.
always get excited for specialists.
Yeah.
They're just so cool.
I love the weird characters. He is a specialist, correct? I think they confirmed that actually.
Yeah.
At Gamescom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chen will be a tank, and Anubarak will also be a tank, I think.
Yes, I think that's correct. Yeah. Anubarak looks a little unique. He has his burrow charge, which looks really fun. Kind of a different way to engage. Should be a really cool patch and really cool event at PAX. I mean, we don't know what else we're going to see because at the last PAX East we got 4 new heroes. We got Brightwing Lily, and we got Zagara and Murky, but they also showed us Chen, Sylvanas, and Kael'thas.
And images.
In images, but we could see images of like Leroy Jenkins, Ragnaros, like who knows? I mean, they could just like throw all kinds of new stuff at us. So
Deckard Cain, and Macho Man Randy Savage's form.
The only difference is there is in fact no panel for heroes at this PAX. I don't think it's just a show floor thing where you can go up and play. I don't think they have an actual panel, so the chance of announcements is actually much lower. But on that note, let's actually move over to our Heroes Deep Dive segment. We're going to be talking about Uther. And Careion, you actually play Uther quite a bit, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, he's probably my main char and my best hero, I will say.
So do you typically fill the support role on your team?
Yes, I'm playing support.
Very cool. Well, Kev, you know the deal. Battle.net is actually down. We typically use the actual game to show off the heroes and the abilities, but Battle.net is down, so we're going to be using heroesnexus.com.
We're having a rough day.
Twitch is down, Battle.net's down.
Everything's down, yeah. DDoSing is, maybe we should bring that up later on in the show today, but... let's take a look at Uther. So Uther is the Lightbringer. Uther Lightbringer. He is from the Warcraft franchise. He's got his combat trait, which is called Eternal Devotion. Upon dying, he becomes an invincible spirit for 10 seconds, and your abilities and basic attacks do 50% healing and damage, so pretty much half the effectiveness as before. He's got his Q, which is Holy Light. It's on a 12-second cooldown. It heals an ally for 150 plus 44 per level, and I think, if I remember correctly, by the numbers, it is the hardest hitting heal next to Ancestral Spirit. His W is Holy Radiance, which is a skill shot with cooldown of 12 seconds as well. Heals all allies in a line for 80 plus 20 per level and dealing 50 plus 15 per level damage to enemies. And then he's got his Hammer of Justice, which is on a 8-second cooldown, deals 40 plus 8 per level damage, and stuns targets for 1 second. He's got 2 heroic abilities, which we've actually been seeing both of these played very often in scrimmages back and forth. Divine Shield, which is a heroic ability, cooldown of 120 seconds, makes an ally invulnerable and increases their move speed by 20% for 3 seconds. And Divine Storm, which is a 70-second cooldown, deals 75 plus 25 per level damage and stuns nearby enemies for 1.5 seconds. So, let's talk about Uther. What type of compositions are you guys running Uther in? I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Uther picks all the time, but I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know, but what are some of the things that you guys think about when you're going for Uther picks?
Sorry, production correction.
Oh, yes,
just you said he has the best heal in the game. We mostly call it burst heal.
Yeah.
Instant heal. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the best instant heal in the game. With Holy Light and Holy Radiance. And also he has a lot of stun potential. He's very tanky. I just like his skill set a lot. You can put Uther together in compositions with Sonya or Careion and play the roaming part. You just roam around the lanes and try to pick off.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Did we?
Might have lost him.
He got real staticky and then he just cut out.
Cut out.
Oh, yes.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, yeah. I'm still having connection issues. I don't know why.
It's okay.
DDoSing going all around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you said he's got the instant heals. He's got the AoE heal with Holy Radiance. He's got the stun. Is there anything else that really just makes him stand out towards your playstyle specifically and just the way you like to roll him? Is it something composition-wise or just overall fits the role you like?
I think just overall.
Now,
we're not playing him that much in compositions right now, or at least the past 3 weeks, because he's always getting banned. Like he always was getting banned. Now it's just more in scrims right now. Tyrell or Tychus are more getting banned, and Uther is actually open. But past 3 weeks, and I haven't played that much since Gamescom because I was still with family and stuff like that. But right before Gamescom, Uther was actually banned in, I think, every game.
Wow. So, when Uther gets banned, I'm just curious, like, who do you tend to lean towards?
Brightwing.
Brightwing.
Absolutely.
Just Brightwing, yeah. They're definitely both the best supports right now in the game.
I don't think
so just before you were breaking out, we were talking before about Careion Uther compositions where you pretty much kind of roam around and stun people and stun lock them. Is there another couple of combinations that you typically will go for if you have an Uther, or if you pick somebody else you will say, oh, Uther's a really good supplement to them as well?
Of course, Uther is a good supplementary Razor build.
Yep, that's very true.
Yeah. So yeah, but it doesn't happen that much because either you get Sonya and Tyrell or you get Uther. There's typically no way you get all three of them.
Now, I'm actually seeing that it's rare that you even get Sonya and Tyrell together. I was noticing that in most games yesterday. Like those two are never on the same team.
Now,
it was so potent for a while, you know. They had to split that up for sure.
On the opposite side of things, you brought up the Eraser build. Do you ever get Uther to counter the Eraser build and then grab Divine Shield as a reactionary mechanism that you can use to stop the Eraser build?
I can't tell you right now because most of the times either Uther or Tyrell is getting banned. So I haven't played against the Eraser build in maybe 3 or 4 weeks now.
What composition do you think Uther... Like, if you see that the enemy team's building something, is there anything like that you would say Uther's good to shut down against? Like, what comps would you use Uther as a counter pick for?
Wow.
I mean, I know he fits a lot of roles, so he's basically good against everything.
With him, that's a hard question to answer.
That's a really hard question because I think he fits in every composition.
Yeah,
he's sort of a jack of all trades.
He's so good and so well-rounded that I don't think there's one specific... Like, there are definitely heroes like that you can say that they do that, but I don't know if that question... I can't think of a good answer for that question, personally.
I was just seeing if there was something specific he will snipe with Uther with.
Fair enough.
Alright, how do you generally start off the game laning-wise? Do you find yourself roaming at all? Are you taking mercs? Are you just staying in lane to soak? What's the general game plan up until level 10?
It depends. Sometimes it depends on the composition we get. If we get if we get the Careion or Sonya on the team and we have Uther, we often go 1-1-1 lanes or 1-1 lanes in Haunted Mines. and me on Uther, and yeah, maybe someone else, Fight Camp or Blackmoor, I don't know, on Careion or Sonia. We're just going to roam. Not soaking XP, and then, for example, I'm taking on tier 1 the increased damage on Hammer of Justice, because you're not soaking XP and you don't have that much of a chance to get regeneration globes.
Okay.
If you're not soaking XP, why would you take the Conjurer's Pursuit talent?
Absolutely.
It doesn't make that much sense. If you're roaming around, yeah, just Hammer of Justice, increased damage.
Okay.
Yeah, but it depends. If we have that composition, sometimes we roam with other heroes. It's really composition wise.
Right.
Right now, I would say it's 50-50. In 50% of the games, I will roam around, and then the other 50% I will just soak XP when I get Uther.
Okay, so that tier of talents typically goes down to either Conjurer's Pursuit or the Hammer of Justice improvement. Okay. All right. And
okay. Did we have him go ahead and make a build for us that we could?
yeah, that's sort of what I was getting at. Just walking through it. That's fine.
And I was talking while muted. I was talking while muted. I haven't done that in a very long time. But we did not actually have him submit a build. I probably should have asked him to do that. But yeah, why don't you just kind of like walk us through? So like just real quick, like for tier 1, just tell us your mentality as to what you grab.
Yeah, like tier 1, just like I said, if I'm going to roam, I grab Dense Waystone with the increased damage on Hammer of Justice. If I'm staying in lane to soak XP, I'm taking Conjurer's Pursuit. I don't really like that much the other talents because, for example, Holy Light range increase is, I don't think it's good.
Right.
I don't like it. And yeah, Blessed Champion.
Yeah, I played with it a bit this week. It seems so low that it's not worth it.
It's very insignificant.
It's too low.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So for tier 2, you have Hammer of the Lightbringer, Protect the Weak, Fist of Justice, and this is why Kev does this, and Protective Shield. Tell us what you typically pick and why.
If I am the only support on our team, I typically pick Protective Shield because it's such a strong talent, I think. Because 20%, no, it's not 20% of the hero's health, it's 300 damage for 5 seconds. Yes.
Adding into that burst heal kind of role that he's filling. Okay, I can see that.
Okay.
So if I'm the only support, I typically take Protective Shield, but I think Fist of Justice also is pretty good if you're going to have a lot of stuns. And so if you take Fist of Justice, I don't see the necessity of taking a Rewind in tier 5.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a really good point. What about tier 3?
Okay, tier 3 is I don't like Rebuke because the knockback of the stun is if you stun the target, you want to have him in that place where you stun it and not send him back. Rave of Light, which the cooldown reduction, I don't think it's that good. So I typically right now I most of the time take Clairvoyance because it's so important that you see what's going on the map, especially on Blackheart Spray. Clairvoyance is the one talent to take there.
Sure.
Cleanse is also okay, and Holy Devotion, but Holy Devotion, you take Holy Devotion when you're dying a lot, and you should die.
That's fair.
I've been seeing a lot of Uther starting to take Clairvoyance as well. I personally have only played like maybe 10 games with Cleanse. I mean, do you you said you kind of take it sometimes. I mean, how impactful do you think Cleanse is on your games? Like, have you ever been like, wow, Cleanse saved our team like multiple times that game? Like, is it ever super impactful for you guys?
There are situations where Cleanse can save you. Like if someone is YOLOing into a team fight.
Right.
And we have that situation a lot where someone is just jumping YOLO, and you can save them with Cleanse, and make the whole situation not that bad. But yeah, 90% of the games I will take clairvoyance. I will pick clairvoyance over cleanse.
I mean, I guess you could say that clairvoyance would stop people from YOLOing in instead of, you know.
I thought you were setting up a pun with your
I thought he was too. He had that tone of voice.
He did.
He had
He
the
did.
tone.
He did have the tone.
I did. You know what? Because I always start my puns with, I guess you could say.
Yeah. All right. Tricky.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, I think clairvoyance, if you know where your opponents are, or at least know where your opponent's not, then, you know, the chance that your teammates are going to YOLO in or go two ham or something, or some other phrase here, is a lot less likely.
And vision is so essential. For example, in some scrims we just pick if we have the last spot. We just if Uther isn't available, Rega is good. I think Rega is good.
Yeah,
not like the cast 2 weeks ago. Rega was just
so fast, man.
Definitely.
You guys didn't believe me.
Yeah, just take.
Oh yeah, because you were talking about Bloodlust. Your full support build.
Actually, he was. No, he was talking about Bloodlust.
I said I think it has a lot of untapped potential.
Yeah, so really interesting point is, do you typically run Uther with Vala? And if you do, are you running Divine Shield, or would you say that you can pass up Divine Shield, go for Divine Storm, and go with Cleanse instead?
Right now we try not to pick Vala.
Okay.
At least we tried not to pick her for a lot of games because I think our range assassin player is better on other champions than Vala.
Okay.
And I also like to pick very tanky, like you pick Kerrigan, Tigers, Uther, if you can get all the picks of them. But not too squishy. I'm not that big fan of Vala.
Oh,
interesting.
So who do you run instead? Like Falstad or?
I said Tychus.
Oh, yeah,
Tigers. We ran a lot of Tyrandy.
Okay.
Tyrande.
Wow.
Tyrande. I don't know how it's pronounced yet.
Tyrande explained in detail how it is.
He kept saying it wrong last night in our cast, by the way.
Yeah, because like anytime I say it wrong, I get 800 freaking tweets, emails, and like I don't know, Morse code.
That's more followers than you even have.
Yeah, I know. They all freaking unfollow me because I keep saying Tyrandy or whatever that is.
Oh gosh, it's terrible. Yes.
We also tried a lot with Reyna.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So for the ultimate, I mostly take Divine Storm because you can, you can stop like Divala ultimate or something like that.
I'm just curious, when you guys do pick Tyrande, do you typically go the Sentinel build?
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. Cool. So you said you typically go with Divine Storm instead of Divine Shield at level 10. So for the next tier, level 13, Spell Shield, Burning Rage, Sprint, Rewind, and Shrink Ray. Now you said Rewind is something you don't grab that often because you can actually get the reduction on your cooldown for your hammer.
At level 4.
With is that Fist of Justice? Yes, Fist of Justice.
Yeah.
And let me actually pull it up for you guys here.
If you go for Shield, then I would assume you go for Rewind.
With Protective Shield?
Yeah, if you go for Protective Shield at level 4, do you grab Rewind?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends. Like, I think Shrink Ray is such an important talent and such a good talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good
if you're the only support on the team and there are heroes in the other composition like Vela or even Tigers, Shrink Ray is worth its money, definitely.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
It's fallen out of the meta so hard. People are valuing Rewind and Sprint a lot over it. You rarely see Shrink Ray anymore, and I'm glad you guys are still using it, or at least some.
I mostly choose on tier 5 between Rewind and Shrink Ray.
That's awesome.
And
because I still think Shrink Ray is really, really good.
I would agree 100%. I don't see why it went out of favor.
A lot of good talents got moved to 13. Like on Malfurion, you get the bonus heal, that hot that goes on talents, and then Rewind moved there a lot. So it makes sense that it fell off for a bit, but it should.
Good.
It should improve that, especially against the current like Tychus Bloodlust meta. Shrink Ray could be so good versus that.
I don't know why you guys aren't grabbing Burning Rage, but I mean, I think you guys are playing the game wrong. That's just me.
The Koreans were running a Tyrael Burning Rage build for a while.
Yeah, Team No Limit. They grabbed like 3 battle momentums and 2 burning rages.
Yeah.
I think in their 1 games against the Senate.
Their meta was so weird for a while.
One of the European teams grabbed Burning Rage on Tyrael. That was I forget which one it was.
Team No Limit, more like Team Skill Capped. Talengated.
Anyway.
There's also this
Wow.
Wow, Jay. Once we go to offline mode, Jake is just like,
Yeah, he's
don't care.
Level 16 for Uther. Let's talk about level 16.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's
How do you feel about Hardened Focus? I find it to be an excellent talent.
Yes,
Oh my god.
definitely is. I pick it in 90% of the games. I just take Hardened Focus.
Yeah, it's a really awesome talent, you know, and at first I was just like, well, Hardened Focus isn't doing anything, but you don't actually realize that it still says the same amount of time. This is just for viewers who have never actually used it, or if they do use it, they think it's broken. It still will say, like, maybe 12 seconds are on your cooldown, but the seconds tick twice as fast, so it'll actually go down in 6 seconds.
So quick question, Careion. Do you think that it's a bit too strong right now? Because that's kind of the, like, 50%, like, yes, it's 80% life, so your life does great. You have to be kind of topped off the entire time to work, but those cooldowns refresh fast. That's 50%.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think it's a bit strong, or do you think it's fine where it is?
I actually think on Uther it is pretty strong. Maybe too strong. Like I said, when you take on tier 2, on level 4 you take Protective Shield, and on level 13 you take Shrink Ray. You can just go for Hardened Focus and you have a stun every 6 seconds, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
6 seconds? Yes, it's every 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
then,
just don't when you can take Hardened Focus, you get to level 16, you just don't need Rewind or Fist of Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah.
Because 6 seconds for a stun is
ridiculous.
that's no time.
So good.
Yeah.
Especially when you take if you take Dense Waystone as well, you can. I mean, you start putting out some good numbers.
Well, so
yeah, but
here's,
then Whitestone, it doesn't scale so good into the late game.
here's
Okay.
I think, then, a really good question positionally. Sorry, just to interrupt. If you're playing with Hardened Focus, you don't want to take a lot of damage. Are you staying in the back and you're peeling using your stun, so basically stopping heroes like Arthas and Stitches, Diablo from getting to your your assassins, and you're using that Hardened Focus that way? Or are you sitting in the front lines? Now, and I assume that's probably like a depending question, but I kind of want to pose it so you can think about like the situations where you're going to be in the middle of your team, or in the front, or in the way back of your team.
Yeah, I didn't get all of your question because I was lagging once again, but I think I know what you mean. I mostly, yeah, of course it's depending. If we have squishy targets in our lineup, like for example, if we play with a Sergeant Hammer, you definitely don't want the enemy team get to Sergeant Hammer. And yeah, just protecting Hammer and looking to the enemy team stays away from. It depends, composition wise.
So I mean, but like,
I think that was your question, right? Because
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, where do you typically find yourself when you're getting into a team fight? Where do you find your Uther staying the most? Do you stay in the middle of your team or towards the front? Because I would assume if you're in the front, you're going to be taking damage, and Hardened Focus is not going to be doing that much.
Yeah, if I'm standing in front, imposing presence is actually much better because when they focus you and their attack speed is slowed by 30%, it's good against heroes like Tychus or heroes that rely on attack speed or on basic attacks. So imposing presence is not that bad of a talent, but most of the time when we right now in scrims we try to get a lot of sustain in our lineup. So with maybe, I don't know, Tychus or Sonya, there are targets in our lineup that are more focused than Uther, I think. and then Hardened Focus will do its work.
Okay.
Cool.
Level 20.
Moving on to our final tier of talents. We got Resurgent, Storm Shield, Bulwark of the Light, and Divine Hurricane.
Okay, they're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go for the Divine Storm level 10, you should definitely take Divine Storm's increased range and cooldown reduce, because it's so ridiculous.
So
You can just stun the whole team.
I remember the first time I ever saw it in a game, like when I first got into the alpha, I was just like, what just happened? Like, so anyways. So you actually do grab Bulwark if you are going Divine Shield, or do you like not play Divine Shield too often?
I not play Divine Shield too often, but when I do, I take Bulwark of Light. Because it depends. You can use it for initiation, like you put it on Terrail, and when he engages the fight, then it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very true.
But then the heal is not worth. It hits for 40% of the target's max health.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, though.
Is there any situation where you take Resurgence, just out of curiosity?
On Uther, no. Because I like Storm Shield more. Storm Shield's better, I think.
Yeah.
So explain why you would grab Storm Shield over something like Divine Hurricane or Bulwark of the Light.
Can you repeat the question, because I have nothing.
Okay. Explain why you would grab Storm Shield instead of the upgrades for your level 10 heroics.
Typically, it doesn't happen that often. It just happens once, or I think it happened once. We were standing in front of the enemy's neck, in front of the enemy's core, and we were focusing it down, and they came out, and I just picked Storm Shield and hit it right away, so we could finish the core off.
That is the definition of situational.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Especially if it doesn't work out, and now all of a sudden you're stuck with, not your upgraded Divine Storm, and people are like, well, wait, why is your Divine Storm small? Do you have Storm Shield? What?
It's one of those plays that makes you look godlike or a complete idiot.
So what you're saying is upgrade your heroic.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So typically, upgrade your heroics. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There are just one or two situations where you can pick Storm Shield, I think, but in general, just upgrade your heroics.
Alright.
Cool.
Because they're so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So, like, if you had to say I wanted to go play Uther, and I only had one friend to play with, would you say the character that they should run together with Uther is always Careion? Like, just Uther Careion as a duo?
Oh, Uther Careion is so much fun. Not always. I think you can play with a lot of heroes. Sonya, for example, you can. Uther was really good with Terrail in the first days of the technical alpha. Yeah, if you could just pick one friend, I will in 70% or 80% of time I will pick Careion, because I just like his skill set, and it's just so fun to roam around with Uther and Careion.
Cooby, do you know how to play Careion?
I was like, what a peculiar question you're asking, Jake. What is the motivation here?
Do you think that Uther is the best support, or do you think he's second to Brightwing? Out of your personal opinion, like no crazy tier list nonsense, but do you think Uther is better than Brightwing in your mind?
Or
I know it's a tough one. That's a tough one.
They're both equally good.
I'll accept that.
So
it's a cop-out, but I'll accept it.
So I can't say one is better. I can say that I personally like Uther better.
Just because of the instant healing?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And also I just like Uther.
He's awesome.
Fairy Dragon playing is nice, but sometimes you can't hear it anymore.
No, Jake. Like, oh God.
So
this place is nice.
it's in its bag. It's in its bag, but I can take her out.
No.
Oh, you have a little bag for her? That's so cute.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I guess my final question that I have for you is, which Uther skin is your favorite?
Ooh, that's a good one, Jake.
Because I played StarCraft, it's definitely the
Oh, the medic one?
Oh, come on.
Yes, no, good man, good man.
Lumberjack, come on.
I know, though, Careion, as a WoW player, a former WoW player, you're excited for the Judgment set, right? With the split hammer rag, it looks so good.
It looks so, it's so stupidly good. Like,
it was at BlizzCon.
What I would love as a skin for Heroes of the Storm is when they put a priest in the game. I would love the priest tier 6. This would be so awesome. Yeah.
Look good.
Oh god, don't get WoW nerds together. We're all just gonna go on about our favorite tiers.
I'm just sitting here like,
look at those skins. Look at those skins. Judgment, Uther medic. I mean, this is from BlizzCon.
You know, I didn't actually notice before, but the medic Uther skin, if you look at the hammer, there's actually a giant Lordaeron emblem on it. Like, I never noticed it before. I thought it was just like a giant flashy cross, but there's also a giant golden Lordaeron L on it.
Yeah, it's
you know,
Lordaeron.
Look at the Jack Uther skin that you realize it's the better skin.
I'm about to blow your mind. I'll find a better picture here, but Uther is actually carrying a log book. That's a Kev pun right there, but it's actually a log book.
Yeah, it is.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. Can you bring up the that's the joke picture?
That's the joke.
That's the joke.
God, so pretty. God,
okay.
Look at those tits.
I have a question.
If you look at the medic Uther, you could definitely appear in Warhammer 40k just as a miniature. I would love to have that.
Yes, that
Warhammer
would be
40k.
so awesome.
Well, you're a man after my own heart. Never mind. Okay, we're good. We're kicking off Corey and we're bringing Jan on all full time.
All right, see you guys. That's fine.
It's time for Jan's questions!
Oh no.
So, how often would you say you are the initiator in a team fight with your heroic? Like, where you just kind of run in and they're like, okay, they're grouped up too much, we're just going to go in and pounce. Is that a common thing that happens, or?
Right now, no.
Okay.
I tried it a lot with taking sprint and just running in and storm everyone. But right now, I'm not really much that... I'm not initiating a lot.
Okay, is that because you feel it's not that good of a strategy, or that the other teams are splitting up enough and are aware of it?
Most of the time, when the team fight is starting, the enemy team is split up enough.
Okay.
But when team fight is going on for a few seconds, you can just stun the right moment and then focus 2 or 3 down.
Do you think it would ever be a viable strategy to try to initiate wombos by grabbing both Divine Storm and Sprint to try to pull off these initiations more effectively?
I tried it. It's definitely fun. I think it could be.
Huh. Cool.
All right.
I mean, that used to be the
needs more testing. Maybe I could test it once again, but yeah.
I mean, I think with the new level 13 talents, it's just fallen off a bit. That used to be the thing to do, is Uther sprint.
Right, but we haven't seen that at all in a long time.
Rewind sprint take priority over it now, unfortunately.
Rewinded shrink ray, you mean?
Or shrink ray, yes. Yeah. He knew. You guys knew.
He knew.
So I actually wanted to start getting back into the other questions about managing a team. So I don't know if we wanted to.
Yeah, we can segue.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, let's segue off Uther. I think that kind of covers our Uther recap. Kev, take it away.
But I did want to ask the question. So, I mean, you managed a StarCraft team before. What differences do you see of managing a StarCraft team where you have to focus on somebody it's more of a 1v1 game versus something that's a heroes brawler / team game? What type of differences have you noticed so far as being a team captain?
I think managing the heroes team is more difficult for me, I think. Because I was managing the national team of German national team of StarCraft 2 together with 2 or 3 other guys. And this was basically, it was very easy because all the guys that played were already professionals for a long time, like Hasu Orbs or Goody, or I don't know who else played in this team. Soke, Dark Force back in the days, you may know them all.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And they were all professionals, so you just type them a message in Skype or in Battle.net, then it's the match versus, I don't know, Poland or Sweden, and they just appeared. It was actually not that big of a deal. Right now in Heroes, I think it's much more complicated because you have to manage right now training time for 5 or even our team, for example, we got a sub who's playing a lot with us. So I have to manage training times for 5 to 6 people when we all have time to train together and all that stuff that comes up. For example, we boot camped just right before Gamescom, and it was pretty sick.
Can you go into that in a little more detail?
Yeah, what is boot camp and what did you guys do?
We went to Gamescom all together, and 1 week before Gamescom, all the whole Mousesports Heroes of the Storm team just showed up at my apartment, which is 70 square meters.
Oh my goodness. so you guys just landed up for a week and just trained hard. I like that. That's cool.
I just want to ask you guys are all German. How far apart, like, where is everyone located in Germany?
It's a bit like the nearest one, when the closest is a 2.5 hour drive from my home.
Wow.
Germany's big, Jake.
I'm asking, man. They could all be in Cologne. They could all be in Berlin. I have no idea.
Yeah.
They could be down in the Dark Black Forest.
I'll give it to you. You named 2 German cities. I probably would have been able to name just one.
The Black Forest is down there in the southern part of Germany. I know a little bit about Germany. I thought about moving there last year. All right.
Okay.
Jeez.
God.
So you're a part of Mouse. It sounds like you're still taking on a lot of management roles. Setting up scrims, making sure there's everyone line.
Yeah.
Is Mouse looking for someone to start taking that over so you can focus on being more of a player and a captain?
We actually have already someone who is taking that role, but I will not step back that much from managing. Also, I have in mind maybe when my exams are coming up next year, and then I will step into high school. high school teaching.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm able to play that much in a year, so I'm holding the option to go back to management and coaching in a year when I have my exams and go back to school.
That's very smart.
For teaching.
That is fun.
Yeah. So, but until that time, I just want to play a lot and compete with all the other teams out there.
So if Heroes of the Storm blows up when we start having $200,000, $300,000 tournaments or something ridiculous, and it becomes a viable option, would you put your career as a teacher on hold to be a full-time player?
The loaded question.
Or is the
Very
teacher
loaded.
passion too strong?
I would do it probably for a year or maximum of 2 years.
Okay.
Because I'm looking forward to teach and for my career, and I also have a girlfriend, and when
you don't need that.
But when you're in your mid-20s, you just plan a lot.
Esports over everything.
You can be teaching the world about esports, or teaching 30 people how to
The future of our world, Kevin.
to do pre-calculus.
It's you have to invest in your future, and maybe I plan to have my own Heroes team in my house in maybe 15 years or something like that.
Fair enough. No, I'm just giving you a couple of jokes there. That's just really cool. I'm glad to hear that you're not planning on throwing everything away and going straight into esports and esports or die, because we have heard that song and dance a couple of times, and
Most people end up dying.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody ends up dying.
I've been 4 years at college. I've been 4 years at college now, and to become a high school teacher in Germany, you go 5 years to college. So this will be my last year, and if you have only 1 year left.
It'd be.
So, go ahead.
Why would you take a break then? So you can. I could imagine taking a break for maybe a year. Then when exams are finished, but
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So, a bit of an ego question. Do you think Mouse is the best European team? And if so, or if not, who do you think's better?
Now that's the loaded question.
Where are you putting yourself right now? Do you think you're on top?
Right now, I don't think we're the best team in Europe. Clearly.
Step it up.
Maybe I see in the versus 3 Invitational, we lost to My Insanity. I think definitely the top 2 right now will be My Insanity and Team Empire in Europe. And then, I think we are somewhere in top 5, top 6, top 4.
Humble. I like it.
But you guys are going to be number 1, right?
I hope so. We're working forward it.
Good.
Just improving, giving our best.
All right, so I have some team-specific questions. So you had alluded to this earlier, that there were specific roles on your team that you like to play the support role. Can you maybe briefly cover the roles that everyone on the team fills? I'm curious to see how you categorize it.
Yeah, we categorize it as I'm playing the main support.
Okay.
We also have a main tank, bruiser player. This is Ali.
Okay.
We have one player, Fight Camp, who is playing melee assassins and bruisers.
Okay.
Then we have a range assassin player, which is Kiragakash, and Cooky is playing the flexible part. He can play nearly everything.
Kigolakash?
Yes.
Yeah, Kiragakash.
Kiragakash?
That's
an
a
impressive name.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Blackmore earlier too. Is he sort of like subbing more now, or?
He will have a new job in 1 or 2 weeks, I think. So he said he can't play that much more, I think.
That's unfortunate.
He just said he will sub more in the future, and he also plays a lot of melee bruisers, and he can play tank role.
Interesting.
Very cool.
I think this is going to be a really weird question because it's really kind of projecting into the future. In League of Legends, one of the biggest things that we've noticed is that there's 3 different regions: the NA region, the EU region, and the Asia region / Korea region.
Yeah, Southeast Asia.
It's always the
Southeast Asia.
EU against NA.
Do you think that there's going to be a big difference in meta in the European teams compared to, say, the NA or Korean teams? And if you had to guess right now, what do you think like the big difference would be? Because in European League of Legends, it's like they play kind of very reserved. They play for the end game, which is also something we see a lot in the StarCraft 2 side as well. Do you think we're going to be seeing the same thing probably in Heroes of the Storm? Do you guys see a difference in the metas right now, like that's starting to exist?
I don't know if we will see it in Heroes of the Storm. Maybe it will not be region-wise, because
That would be nice.
when someday there will be custom games back, and then I think a lot of European teams will scrim against the American teams. Just like I know Ace is constantly complaining about he wants to play against the American teams. So I think the meta will not that much differ from the 2 regions.
I think one of the bigger differences right now is Diablo's a pretty common pick in North America. But
I know that.
He's not picked at all in Europe. Why would you say this is the situation? Because that's probably the biggest difference in our meta right now.
I can actually say before Diablo was OP, because while Diablo was OP, he was a global ban for all scrims.
Oh, that was the bug. That was because of the bug. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of his returning flames and doing too
Fire.
much damage. And before that, our team actually played Diablo a lot. We played him, in nearly every second scrim, 50% of the times, because Ali is a really good Diablo player, and he likes him a lot. Diablo is his.
You happen to know that Diablo is my character.
So why the shift? Why the meta shift? Why did Diablo fall out after they fixed the Firestorm? If you guys were playing him before Firestorm became OP. Did your the community just kind of determined that other heroes are better at performing the role, or?
I don't really know. Maybe you're just used to the other champions right now. I think our tank hasn't played Diablo in 4 weeks now, on 5 weeks maybe. So he just says, "Don't pick Diablo for me because he doesn't know how to play him anymore."
That's fair.
Or he maybe just wants to try and solo queue if Diablo is still viable for him. But yeah, most of the time we go for special compositions. I think Diablo doesn't fit in most of them. Most of the time you just want Stitches or Arthurs, who's right now clearly the best tank in the game. You try to get Arthurs or Stitches because I think right now they're both better.
Agreed.
Awesome, man. Well, I know it's pretty late for you over there in Germany, and I think it's time for us to actually switch over to our next segment. So I think we're going to let you go get some sleep.
Yes.
So before we do that, why don't you give us some quick shout-outs as to where people can find you online, your Twitter, Twitch if you have one, YouTube, all that good stuff.
Okay, first shout-out definitely to Mousesports, good organization who picked us up last week. You're awesome. Shout-outs to my team, the whole Mousesports Heroes of the Storm team. Shout-outs to the other European teams we play against, like My Insanity or also Team Empire, Big Couple to Noodles, because he's just a crazy guy. Shoutouts to Quality Control, who are our main scrim partner right now. Yeah, you can find me online on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Careion23, CRREION 23. Same goes for Facebook. Actually, Facebook is so hated, but I still use it. But if you don't speak German, you just better go to Twitter, because I think 80% of my Facebook posts are in German, and Twitter is only 30 or 40%. I don't know.
Stats, I like it.
I don't stream right now because when I got home from work today, my router was just destroyed. So I have that's why I have no webcam, because I am in the Wi-Fi of my neighbor actually, and the internet is so bad, so I can't stream right now. I maybe stream in the future. You can find me on Twitch TV /LE, which is French Le Careion, CRREION. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again very much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you on and to get your divine insight of Uther.
Oh.
Thanks for having me.
On that note, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, even though this is a VOD. I need water. I'm just going to say straight up, I need to refill my water, so we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we return, we'll be talking about ESV. I mean, Jared was hosting it, so I'm just going to let him talk a lot about pretty much his experience doing it and what we're going to see with that moving forward, and pretty much the highlights of the event. I know we saw some VODs on some highlights on Reddit already. And Cooby's questions, of course, and the PAX Prime Preview. Again, Careion, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Big fan of the show. Keep on, guys.
Awesome, man.
I love you.
Thanks, dude. Stay tuned, guys. What is up, guys, and welcome back to Town Hall, episode number 28. We just had a awesome segment where we brought on Careion. Apparently, I called him a pretty man. I've been notified by the other host during our commercial break that I called "You're a pretty guy" or something.
Yo, Jake, you're a pretty man.
You're a pretty man. Now, I actually have no. I'm not even going to defend myself. I think that's awesome. He is a pretty man. He was wearing a New England Patriots shirt. He had a Celtics hat in one of his pictures. Like, he's a pretty man. He's a pretty guy. On that note, what are we talking about?
The offline shows, man, they get crazy.
The ESV Championship Series did happen yesterday. Jared, you were heavily involved. Kev, you showed up on it as well, doing some casting some games. Jared, just take it away. Tell us a little bit about what it is and how yesterday went as a whole.
So ESV Championship Series is, I guess, the first real league. There's a few more popping up now, but it's the first one that's had a live broadcast with it. For Heroes of the Storm, we have a lot of the great teams in North America playing it. I think it's 8 teams total. Yesterday was day 1 of the broadcast, and there's a lot of things that happened. It's day 1 of a broadcast, so it was a lot of delays, which will be cleaned up tomorrow. The main thing I'm taking away from tomorrow is Heroes of the Storm is so fun to watch. Like, when I was rewatching the broadcast of games, I actually cast and already knew the results. That game is fun to watch. I can't wait till we have a real spectator client. That's just like the first thing I took away from yesterday was Heroes is so fun just to watch. It is the all the good parts of League. And were you muted through the whole beginning intro?
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought we had another one of those situations. But yeah, it takes away all the good parts. Like we've been talking about how this is all the good parts of League and Dota. It just takes away all the boring long parts. And in the broadcast, for the actual games, I thought it was a blast. Kev, you got to cast with me a bit just from the casting perspective. That was so much fun. Casting Heroes is so much fun.
So before we hop into the nitty-gritty specifics about the game, this was your first time actually casting a tournament. And like you said, we don't have an actual spectator client. We're basically using the bare bone, kind of just what the replay client could be from StarCraft, since it's built on StarCraft's engine. Do you feel that the game was restricted? Do you feel like you were restricted as a caster, not being able to pull up something like a resource tab? Or was the game fast-paced enough to the point where you didn't need something like that?
With a co-caster, I didn't feel too restricted. We had access to the talents and stuff, and there were ways to get to you can see on Cursolo, in the normal mode you can't see which teams have tributes. You have to, but there is a way you click on a specific team's visions. If I'm being brutally honest, I wish the scene would slow down a bit, calm down, wait for an actual spectator client, because if you're doing this solo, for an event like this, I don't think it's possible. You can't pull up, the talent screen is a big pop-up in the middle of the screen that blocks everything. You can't be watching the map at all. It's doable, yes, but it is, without a co-caster, it would be very brutal.
So it's kind of similar to the way Hearthstone is, where streaming Hearthstone is incredibly difficult, because without the spectator client, it requires a full production guy just to man it. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, just going into ESV, or ESC rather. It's ESV Championship Series. That's ECS. It's gonna keep messing with my brain all night, but that's okay. I'll get used to it eventually. Like you said, some production hiccups. Again, that'll be fixed moving forward. The laughing robot Zoya was actually the funniest thing I've witnessed in a very long time, because essentially Jared's mic was he had an airplane. Actually, he was actually casting from an airport last night. You could hear the airplane engines, and he decided to restart the stream and switch his microphone. And it came back, and I'm laughing just thinking about it. And he was just full robot mode. And I'm sure there'll be a VOD up, and we'll definitely link that in the YouTube comment. Beyond that, how did you feel about casting with a guy like Caldor and a guy like Dunk Train? You casted with a good range of people. Did you learn anything as a caster yourself? Look at maybe Queen herself.
That is a tough one to answer. Because it's been so long since I've cast. The last official event I cast was WCS Challenger League 2013 for Europe.
Wow.
When we did the So You Think You're Cast, so it was more of me just getting back in the swing of things. And I was a StarCraft caster before this, guys. MOBAs are a completely different ball game, and so I guess it was just finding more of a pacing. I don't think there's anything in specific I learned. You have to I've already got experience casting with co-casters and knowing how to flow off each other, so I didn't really that didn't feel too much different in a MOBA, but it's just casting a completely different game that I learned a lot about. MOBAs are so different than StarCraft 2 when it comes to casting.
Well, experience in casting with co-casters, you and Cav have actually got a couple of years of experience casting together. How did that go, the transition from StarCraft 2 to Heroes of the Storm?
I think it went well. I thought last night went very well. We were both really rusty, but past the rustiness, Kevin and I have always flowed well off each other. I thought last night.
Yeah, we threw back and forth on battles. I don't even know if you were consciously doing it, but it was just subconsciously. It was just I was okay, Zoe's gonna have this battle, so I can start thinking about what I'm gonna be saying next while I'm listening and watching this battle. And then you as soon as you get done with the battle, I talk about the aftermath, and then the next battle I get into it, and then you talk about the aftermath. This is just something that we used to do all the time for StarCraft 2. So it was like that part was really easy for Zoya and I to work together. And listening to Kaldor and Zoya's thing, like it's just things that casters have going back and forth, and it's really funny because there's a lot of things like people don't really notice a lot of the things about casters that when you're a caster you do realize, like when they're disagreeing with each other, like there's these little really subtle ways that they say things that you can't say, like, well, no, you're wrong, but. And you know, I didn't notice any of those like last night, but there's these little things that you really don't pick up that like and when I was casting again last night, that I was like really kind of realizing, like Zoya's putting this and you know, sometimes he was, you know, more or less subtly asking me questions like, you know, why is this like this, and it's you know, tossing you the underhanded ball, just like, here, you know, catch this ball, and meanwhile answer the question so the viewers know what's going on. But there's also like other like situations that go, and so Zoe and I just had a really easy time just going back and forth just because we had that experience before. But yeah, it was awesome. It was great casting with Zoe again. It to go back into casting a game that you're not familiar with, but to have somebody that you're familiar with casting with, made the whole transition way easier. At least for me.
I agree for that 100%. You know, just kind of cushioned the little landing there on Heroes for us. I mean, I don't know. It's a completely different game. That's what it feels different about the most is if you like compare StarCraft 2 and any MOBA, they're just completely different casting styles. You know,
well,
that's what.
Go ahead.
I tried casting League of Legends a little bit about a year or two ago when I was trying to think, you know, what I wanted to do next.
We did a bit of casting together.
Yeah, I think we did. We did like 1 or 2 games.
AHDL or whatever.
AGH.
After Hours Gaming
League. Yeah. We did like 1 or 2 for that, and you know, MOBAs in that respect were a little bit different. But Heroes of the Storm is still a little bit faster paced. And I was trying to come up with the best analogy for it today. But I think what I landed on was, it's basically, for StarCraft 2, it's like casting a Zerg versus Zerg, except every single Zergling has a name and 4 different abilities. And you're trying to like list off the names of the Zerglings as they're going in with their different abilities and describe a Zergling on Zergling plus Baneling battle and explain all of their names and everything in the same amount of time that it happens in StarCraft 2. And you only have like these small little breaths of time when the queens are spawning more larvae. Like that's like all you really have in that whole entire in this game so far. So I think Zoe and I, at least I had a trouble, especially during battles, the very beginning of them, and somebody pointed out to me, it was just like, you know, you pointed out a lot of like menial things when you first casted like your first game or so, but then like as the cast got on, you started to point out the more important things that were happening in the battles, and I definitely noticed that Zoya was already a little bit more comfortable with that, like by the time we got to me getting in. But the battles are really quick, really fast. There's a lot more things to be mentioning all at once. Not only that, but there's, you know, 5 different people on each side. Each of them are doing different things, and you have to pick out of those 10 people, those 20 interactions, etc., which ones are the ones that matter, which ones are going to be changing the entire tide of the battle, and everything in the spawn of like 5 seconds, and you have to
Fury and Moon fired so many people. I don't want to be playing.
Like I remember there was like one point where I was just like Ancient Chain or the whatever Barb's Chain,
Spear.
like
Ancient Spear.
Yeah, I said Ancient Spear, and I was like, that doesn't matter at all. And then I got caught up in the fact that didn't matter, and the battle was gone, and I was just like, wow.
Dead caster. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's good. There's so many things going on at once. The pivotal things, there's obvious situations like, yeah, a good hook. That's an obvious play. That's going to be a big play that you're going to call out. But it's going to be hard for any caster that's new to the game to figure out, like, what is the most important point on the fly, you know, every time.
It'll take practice.
Absolutely.
A lot of practice.
When I'm watching... Yeah, when I'm watching VODs of the game, sometimes I will rewatch the battle, like, I don't know, 5-6 times. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to focus on this guy, watch him, see what he does, what mistakes did he make. Like, yeah, trying to do all of that on the fly, the first time, the right time, like, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. And I think you guys did a pretty good job with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the viewership was actually above and beyond anyone's standards, I think. I was personally anticipating maybe 200 viewers. I think you guys average around 650. You guys had around 900 at one point. Did you break 1,000? Peaked at 1,000.
Broke 1,000. Broke 1,075 at one. I think towards the first 2 games or so.
I mean, right off the bat, that's just proving that people like to watch this game from a different perspective. Because, I mean, so far we haven't seen amazing viewership for just individual streamers. And it's kind of hard to watch a game that you don't play, and a lot of people have agreed that that's probably why the viewership has been so poor, because it's hard to watch a single guy's point of view if you're not learning something that you can go and try. You know, it's really fun to be able to just be like, all right, I want to learn how to play Tyrande like the way Chef plays Tyrande. And Chef's going to be streaming for 11 hours, so I'm going to watch all day. Shout out to Chef, who streamed for 11.5 hours the other day. You know, on the other hand, though, this is a completely different perspective where we have an observer and you have two guys telling you what's going on, and the results show that people tuned in, because 650 people watching a 6-hour broadcast as like the average is amazing for a game this young.
In this early alpha where like so few people have access, I mean, it just points to good things for the game. I mean, I know everyone wants to say, like, my game is going to be big, my game is going to make waves and stuff, but after last night and after, like, rewatching, like, normally, I don't know about you, Kev, but I can't, like, I almost never rewatch my own casts. I have to send it to friends, like, give me feedback this way. I can't stand listening to myself. I watched the whole rebroadcast at least, like, one time through and another half.
God, you fool yourself.
That game, like, I did so good. No, but the game is just so fun to watch, like, and it's so early alpha that I am so excited for this game after last night. Like, it was just so fun for me to watch, and I
went to bed though. My voice was hoarse. Like, I went to bed and I was like, my voice, and I only did that for what, 2 hours? You were there for 4, 5, 6.
I was complaining a lot in between the breaks. It was
rough. That's
a lot this game.
Yeah, you talk a lot. You talk very fast, and you have to. I mean, I didn't even want to get excited. Like, I was trying to, like, kind of pace myself, but there was, like, some fights where I was just, like, it was, like, 11 o'clock. My roommate normally goes to bed at 11, and I was like, oh my god, I want to yell, but I can't! It was, like, impossible. It was so much fun.
You should just move into Cooby's basement.
Yeah, Cooby's castle.
Cooby's castle. So, you know, what were your guys' favorite moments? Cooby, why don't you just tell us, like, some of the things that really stood out to you? Like, any things that you saw that really, like, blew your mind in terms of games?
I saw some weird builds. I'm not gonna lie. I saw some really strange things. Like, I was just like, I would watch the picks and bans, and like I was just trying to like wrap my head around like, okay, what are they trying to go for with these particular team comps and stuff. Not to like single any particular out, but I'm going to anyway. The hammer builds. I was always like, so confused.
Man.
The hammer builds were very confusing. It was like, okay, they're gonna pick hammer, and they're gonna go for like a really annoying like range strategy, and then they didn't take the range. And then I was talking with Matt about it, and it was just like, well, you can go executioner if you take first strike, but he didn't take first strike. So I was like, there were a lot of things I was scratching my head at, but there were also a lot of really hype plays too. So overall, it was an interesting experience. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, one of the biggest things that I noticed was that in the Korean game, Korean show match that happened at the end, which was Team No Limits versus Descent, we saw Zeratul, and then we saw a Zeratul target ban. And I was just like, whoa. The Zeratul pick by itself was pretty crazy because, I mean, most scrim teams nowadays, or like when I talk to them, they're like, you know, how do you feel about Zeratul, Void Prison, etc.? They're like, yeah, I mean, if you're ready for it, if you're prepared for it, it's not that big of an issue. Descent was prepared for it. Descent was ready for it. Descent was not actually as ready as they thought they were for it. Like, that Zeratul was pretty crazy, and that was one of the coolest things that I was seeing coming out of that, too. As in terms of, like, unnatural, well, not unnatural, but unusual things. Cooby's kitties.
Jared, favorite parts of yesterday, thing that stood out to you the most in terms of gameplay?
I just like to see, like, the main thing to me was, like, when you play with teams in scrims, like, you don't really feel it because you're focusing on your own play, or when you watch scrims, maybe you don't notice it because you're only watching one perspective, but there was a lot of differences in play styles for just individual roles. Like, if you were to watch all the Vala games, like, played by different players, they all had their own specific styles. Like, the one that jumped out to me most was it Crazy Moving? That was the Vala player for their team? I don't remember.
Wait. Yes, Crazy Moving.
Yeah, crazy. Like, he had just such a conservative style. He always played safe, and he would never pop strafe. Like, every time he strafed, was when he knew everyone's stuns were down, when he knew he could get the full strafe off.
Yeah.
Like watching the differences in play styles and like how patient some players were. That I guess that was the highlight for me. Also, Dunk's fourth-person Gorge was cool too.
Very cool. Well, I mean, moving forward, like you said, there's going to be a lot of production upgrades going forward with it. You're going to be casting tomorrow with Idra. Why don't you just talk about that really quick and who's going to be playing?
Oh, okay. Luckily, I had that TL thread opened. So tomorrow we have Glorious versus Descent. Excelsior did forfeit their match. We have Snowflake versus Descent. We have SMG versus Tempest. Glorious versus Wildfire. And then, wow, do we really only have 4 matches tomorrow? Wow, no, that stinks. Yeah, we only got 4 matches tomorrow, all best of 1, no show match. Yeah, it'll be me and Idra casting. I'm excited for that. I have always enjoyed casting with players just because you don't have to do any work as a caster when you have a player. You make them do all the analysis.
Yeah,
Even if you know what's going on, you throw it to them. You make them look so good, and like it's so easy. So I'm excited to cast with Idra.
Don't give out your secrets.
It starts 3 p.m. It starts 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 West Coast or East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a really cool point that you brought up, and it's another thing. It's like you also notice that the caster knows what they want to ask, or they know what they want the person to say. It's like they put the question in the right way that the player will know how to answer, and like everybody kind of profits out of it.
I mean, yeah, it's just a style of casting. It's not even that it's like so easy. It's just about knowing the right questions to ask the caster to get this storyline about. Because it's, I mean, as a caster, you're a storyteller. You have to be telling what's going on in the matchup, and there's so much information going on at once. So it's like, okay, this decision was made. All right, Greg, tell them why this decision was made, and he's going to have the right answer. And it's just a really nice flow, a very symbiotic relationship between the two casters. So. You know, actually, before we go away from talking about just esports events in general, there was a tweet by NACL Esports, which is the North American Challenger League Esports, where they tweeted saying they have a few tournaments coming up, and in that they included, I actually can't find the exact tweet, but they included a $10,000, here it is, $10,000 Heroes of the Storm tournament. You can see right here, $30,000 for League, $10K for Smite, and $10K for Heroes of the Storm. There's no other
shared between, or $10K for Smite, $10K for Heroes of the Storm. Smite's already been out for a while. Yeah. Heroes of the Storm starts off with the same amount. That's awesome. Sorry, just wanted to
that's awesome. Like you said, I mean, Smite has like a $600,000 tournament coming up. Smite's had a ton of support from the developer, just like a boatload of support. They're expanding rapidly at a ridiculous pace, honestly. But the fact that these guys are coming out and saying, all right, we're going to support Heroes of Storm. We're not going to support, you know, Infinite Crisis, Heroes of New Earth. There's a million other MOBAs out there. They see the value in Heroes of the Storm, so I think that's really good to see already that exposure. Wrong scene, production value,
I think it's
Rip City.
We're seeing that one. I mean, I just feel it's way too early. Like, they're saying it's for this fall. We don't even know if we're going to have custom games by then.
Like, this fall.
It's so early, and I've heard, like, nothing has been official. I haven't actually like done research myself, but apparently this league has had trouble with like payouts. Like it's still low players, not money. So I'm not like, I'm excited about this because we're already seeing number signs, which is way like much faster than I thought we would. But with a grain of salt, guys.
It seems like really like tournaments is early. Tournaments with $10,000 way too soon. I mean, we don't have. That's what I wanted to convey, because honestly, it's great, it's awesome, thank you very much for the support, but come on, we don't have custom games, we don't have spectator clients, all of this is so makeshift, and just to run a $10,000 tournament is like amazing, but at the same time, it's also, think of how frustrating that is for the players that don't have access to the game. Like there's a lot of like different
Think of how frustrating it is for Blizzard. Please, don't back off, guys. We're not ready. We're alpha. $10,000. Like, let's be real though. Do you honestly see Blizzard letting this $10,000 league happen?
No.
Like, I see them shutting it down.
Absolutely. Yep. They've already.
Yeah, you have to, as long as it's over like X amount, you have to go through Blizzard. And I can't imagine Blizzard saying, oh, yeah, go ahead. Run on a tech alpha.
Yeah.
By the way, if you get any salty players because it's a tech alpha and it crashes because it's a tech alpha, we're fine with that. That's not going to look bad for us at all.
What Kev was saying is, I don't know their policies anymore. I'm pretty sure in the past there was something like if your tournament is over $10,000, you have to get.
It was for WCS. If it was 10,000 or more, you could not broadcast during WCS hours unless you had permission. That's
Yeah,
what it was for
but no.
It's more than that. It's
local New York tournaments. We had a prize pool that was over $1,000. You have to get approved by Blizzard to run those types of tournaments.
and
I can find the guidelines. I mean, they've changed it a couple of times. The esports crew from Blizzard normally runs these types of things, and I'll see if I can dig it up.
But you can't
Blizzard
just
has to approve these.
Right, you can't just like, all right, we're doing it. Like, it's not how it works. That's like.
Amazing.
Hey, Kev, you're pretty.
Thanks, having a great day.
Why didn't we go to Valley Girl?
Anyways, yeah, I mean, moving on, I mean, there's just a lot of cool stuff going on. Like you said, ESV, or what is it again? ESC.
ESV Championship Series.
I'm never going to remember the C and V switch. It's too complicated. I just can't do it. Anyways, yeah, I think that was a really, really, really solid start just to our competitive scene as a whole. Seeing the viewership like that was great. But moving on to our next segment, we have a little segment that there's a kitty that might have a name that relates to this.
Cooby's questions!
God damn it! I want to draw that out really long. Jared, you're the worst.
I can't control the hype, man.
Why did you want to draw it out?
I don't know why. I just wanted to like have Jared bouncing around uncontrollably, but he couldn't control it.
No.
You can't control the uncontrollable.
Nope. It's too
Unless
wide.
you're in control.
Well, Cooby, the floor is yours.
Yes. Okay, so you were saying we're going to move away from casting talk, but no, we're going right back into it.
What's wrong with my hair?
God. All right, so we're going to brainstorm some ways to improve the viewer/casting experience. So there's some really obvious things that have been hashed out 1,000 times. Synced replays, an actual observer client, etc., etc. But something that sort of has been talked about a little bit, but I want to go into it a lot more, is stats. And I think it tells a lot of the story for the casters. So I want you guys to sort of brainstorm 3 stats that you could have access to in-game that would help you to either tell the story to newer players or just to improve the viewer experience in general.
I can't think of one that would improve viewer experience or newer viewers, but this is one that I would really like just from an analytical perspective. A way to track how many minions someone is in lane for, just for the experience. Like, to be able to go, this is why Snowflake has a 1-level lead, because Idra has hit 30 of his minions, where Junk Train has only hit 15. Dunk Train has not been in that lane for as many. A stat like that, sure, it's not as good for newer. That's a little bit more of an advanced thing. But as a caster, a player, just wanting to learn more about the game, I think a stat like that would be really cool. Like breaking down the experience game just a little bit more, so you can figure out why someone has this level lead.
One thing I've always loved, every year I watch TI religiously, and I've always loved in Dota, is when they show the graphs, just the XP graphs, and the way they fluctuate. And after a team fight, you can pull up the graph and just see how far the graph changes in favor of one team or the other. So I think that's like the I guess probably obvious, but like crucial thing that the game has to have. I really like Jared's idea for XP, but just stuff that shows like independent value for a player to some extent, because we have so much team stuff. But I mean, in esports, it's about making superstars. A lot of it is about having that captain or that guy that's known for being absolutely amazing at one thing and hyping them up and making them that celebrity. And without some kind of tool that can individualize a player to really just help tell that story, it's really hard to just hype up players, because it's great to hype up teams, but every team has a favorite player. And it's something that's always going to be that way, and I think is a necessity. I mean, I don't know what other tools there could be to use in that way. I haven't really thought about it a lot. This is why Cooby's questions always rattle my brain around a little bit. But
yeah, I'm sitting here, a bunch of little thoughts
Just
in my head.
Okay, so I had a bunch that I had racked my brain about. The first one on the list is percentage of lane experience captured. So I thought it was funny that was the one that Jared immediately went to.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I want to see a damage over time like graph so that you could see, like say like you see a Vala and she kind of ratchets it up at like level 4. And it kind of stays pretty nice, and then all of a sudden level 10 you see like it kind of shoots up, and then team fights and everything like that. I think that'd be a really cool way to visualize like where those heroes like are like the most effective damage wise.
Raynor would be like just flatline until level 16 and then just hit the ceiling.
Exactly, like those kinds of things, like where you kind of see like the level 4 to whatever level, and you can see like team fights. You can see the team fight like gross. Like, where it gets, like, even crazier between different levels or something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
You guys did a good job actually highlighting the big importance between, like, 16 to 15. Yeah. Like, okay, you hit 16, this is the big deal. And if you have those graphs to back that up, like, okay, see how much his damage jumps up at level 16 because of this 16. Talent? Like, really hammers that home. All right, go ahead, next one.
The other one was, I mean, this is a pretty simple thing, and I think if anybody is able to count, it'd be pretty simple. You don't really need it, but I think it'd be a really cool not graph, but just like a number of just how many merc camps that have been captured, like at just any given point. So you just put up like like one of the cool things about StarCraft 2 was like you'd always have like the little back and forth graphs that would be like, workers killed or something like that, or something like something else. I think it'd be really cool to have like a merc camps captured bar that would like show up and be like, yo, like SMG's captured 16 camps, whereas Zoya's team's captured 0.
I would also
Zoya's team is losing.
I would also be interested in being able to see the merc siege damage on top of that.
Yeah, that'd be again another like more cool things, like how much damage siege minions and stuff like that have done to forts and etc.
You have to be very careful with because there's a lot of stats like that are nice to have, but working those into a MOBA would be very hard. Like in StarCraft 2, you have this little drop down that can have so many different things where you could fit that in, but I don't you have to be. If they can implement that somehow into heroes, that would be so awesome. But I don't know how they could do that without it being obnoxious or like just taking up too much.
You do have prime real estate already taken up, so it would be tough. I agree.
I mean,
so there's really cool things that happen in League of Legends where at the very bottom they have like that little thing, right? That kind of shows like all the items that everybody has. You could easily have that like slowly expand as people pick up skills, so that everybody can see the build that everybody is going for at all times. And not only that, but like the casters don't have to like pull up a giant freaking whoa. Oh, here's a pool to sit up in front of your entire screen.
Alpha.
Yeah,
they
but
probably have something like that.
And it could expand, like, because I don't think you need to have it at full size. But that was another thing I was thinking about when I was doing it on when I was casting yesterday. I was like, Jared was bringing up, you can't bring up talents, but I think you could have like a small one where you just have the little icons, maybe put like your little pointer over it, and it kind of expands into the whole ability. These are things for like UI, obviously.
Yeah, these are things that Blizzard's probably already working on.
Like, I'm literally like, I have a friend at the UI department. I'm just gonna message him like just a list of these, and maybe we'll see. Like, I mean, they probably already have this like written down, but
let's be honest. StarCraft 2 had one of the outside of like no replays with friends and stuff, they have a great observer interface. They have so much information they have in game. It's the same team, right? Is the UIT the same?
I mean, it could be. We assume.
You can expect a lot of good things from it, but there are certain stats that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of the really cool innovation that came from the StarCraft 2 UI for casters came out through GameHeart, if you remember correctly.
GameHeart revolutionized StarCraft 2. Especially for esports. I mean, giving tons of new tools, especially stuff like stuff that doesn't necessarily affect what the caster's saying, just in terms of like production value. I think GameHeart had more of an impact on that, giving team logos and stuff, and you could have the MLG logo or the ESL logo in the middle of the map, which is really cool. But
I will say it took way too long for us to just have a consistent worker count.
Yes.
That was just like, why did this take 3 years?
In early Wings of Liberty, and then compare it to just the end of Wings of Liberty. I guess the in-game UI did change a lot for StarCraft 2. There's
a ton. And then eventually they added custom UIs to the game, and then anyone could develop their own custom UI, and then we started seeing some really cool ones. Quick idea, and we were talking about just like showing talents and stuff on the screen. When you're playing in game, and it says choose a talent on the bottom left, that's kind of cool. That shows your one talent for that level. But maybe they could do something to that effect where the choose your talent window comes up over here, but instead the caster has the ability to show all of Malfurion's talents, like his full build. Like maybe it shows all tiers on some kind of small list over here. So it's like, well, Malfurion's going this route, and they could talk about the hero and like why they're building that way based on the matchup and the composition. I think that'd be a pretty cool.
Well, personally, I think the entire bottom side of the map for the caster interface just needs to go away, and they need to completely get rid. Like you don't need. Like, if you click on a hero, you don't need to see what spells and stuff they have and stuff. Like, the entire bottom side, like, it maybe fits the map, I don't think needs to be there.
No,
like,
I think it was actually pretty useful because I was able to tell, like, when people were using specific heroics, when they were going to be coming back up. I mean, I don't know, because, like, you know, I didn't have to worry about...
Well, you can still have ways to track that in other forms, but the bottom side right now is pretty cluttered with stuff that could be put elsewhere in a more efficient way, or replaced with stuff like making that... Like, you don't have to have the player in-game interface there. It could look a little bit different.
I mean, like you said, the abilities in the middle, you think they could remove that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or just like, you don't need the player frame in that bottom left either.
I mean, it's nice to be able to, like, in StarCraft 2, I always liked when they would select a unit and click on it and you'd see the HP, and then it's like, oh my god, he lived with, like, 2 HP, like, oh, that's amazing.
Just make it so that...
Like,
never mind.
to remove that, the option of having something like that, I think would be... And also, you want it to, like, seem familiar. Like, if it looks, like, completely different, that might be a little bit jarring of an experience. I definitely think there's room for some creativity, for sure, but... I do like...
I retract my statement, friends.
Okay. Now, one thing in StarCraft 2 that we had is they would actually remove... You could just remove the interface entirely. During big engagements, they could actually remove the panels. So maybe there could be an option where the bottom abilities actually go away.
I think you can do that, actually, in the Observer client. I think you just hit Control W, which is what it was in StarCraft 2, and it all goes away?
No,
I might be wrong.
No, that's probably right, but what if you can actually have something different where it actually just removes the abilities at the bottom and then it shows all the stats? It shows the graphs, it shows like the different like kind of information you want to display in that area.
Yeah, if you check out, I just sent on Skype, there's, I mean, I don't know, just for the viewers' sake, and you know, if you're listening on the audio only, you can also just do yourself a favor and I just looked up League of Legends spectator mode. But you see in the bottom that number 5 where they have like that cool little thing where it shows you all the items that they've been building. Easily can fit all of the talents that people have been picking.
Is this what League of Legends looks like?
Yeah, well, no, this is really early client, and I think on really low graphics too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it doesn't actually look like this.
Oh god.
But yeah, I mean, like I just wanted to have that giant number 5 for reference. And you know, you could throw in, and yeah, they also mirrored it instead of it being 2 at the iteration. But yeah, anyway, you could
Heroes
do
look so
like
much better in alpha. Meh.
Anyways, yeah, how do you guys feel about the 2 teams on the left aligned and right aligned for each team having the heroes and the health bars there?
It's something I'm used to. I don't know if it's necessarily better.
Actually, I kind of like it at the top left.
Me too.
Right,
I got used to it last night. Like last night, like after 3 or 4 games, I was like, wow. Like, you know, I thought, like before I was like, oh, just Blizzard put them on the left and right. But after last night, I didn't even notice it anymore. I think it's just gonna take getting used to.
The big problem that I have with the League of Legends and both Dota, I have like 2 just massive issues with their UI. But the biggest one that I have for the spectator mode for League of Legends is that it just always feels like the action is boxed in with information. Whereas in StarCraft 2, it's like there's like a very light top bar and a very light bottom bar when you're doing game heart. And then in Dota 2, I always notice that there's just a very heavy bottom bar and a very heavy top bar. And you feel like you have like this theater vision of what's going on. So that's always kind of bothered me as well. I think like what StarCraft 2 had, especially with game heart, was just awesome. But that's anyway. That's just some UI things that I was thinking about as being a caster.
What is?
No,
but go ahead, Jared.
Oh, it's just people are actually doing the Lizard Squad stuff. Like so many people are tweeting forehead little.
Don't feed the lizards.
It's kind of funny to look at their Twitter history though. But yeah.
All right.
Nothing relevant.
Next poke at you guys is map specific stats.
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah,
which map?
I want some,
okay.
Yeah. I want some ideas for map specific stats.
Oh, that one's tough. Like here's one. Like Blackheart Bay. Being able to track how fast you're reacting to chests and how fast, like, you know, which teams are instantly knowing when the chest is about to spawn and able to get there in time. Like little like. But outside of that, like getting like we brought up the merc cams and stuff, like being able to track how fast people are responding to objectives is the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
You could do amount of coins lost through deaths to the other team.
Actually, I was gonna say like how you got coins was your coin from a hero death, or was your coin from a jungle camp, or was it from a chest? And I think that would be a really cool stat because you'd be like, look, like you can get every chest, but if you get all the jungle camps, you get like twice as many coins, something like that, and twice as fast. But I feel like that's more of a tutorial kind of thing. I don't know if that's really that great for like a tournament setting, you know? Yeah.
Kind of, it could be. No, it could be because you can say, okay, why is this team losing?
Cooby.
And you can just say, oh, well, look at this. They got half of their coins through hero deaths. It's like, well, okay, this is a good way to point to the fact that they're losing.
Yeah. For map specific.
Oh, I've got an idea for every map here. I'm waiting for you guys to.
Well, I'm just thinking about this from a programming and like UI perspective.
Like, I don't even care about all that. Like cool
every
stats.
single map, they're gonna come up with like a way to display like map specific. I don't know. That's gonna be daunting just to think about.
I don't know. Like, I guess on Haunted Mines, like, what did the most, like, keeping track of like how much damage did the golem take on Haunted Mines, and how much of it was hero damage versus how much of it was tower damage, or how much damage the golem actually did. Like,
yeah, that's kind of.
I don't think those are very important stats, but those are stats I could think of that could be.
I had time spent in mines and a ratio of damage dealt to the golem.
Yeah, I mean those are stats you could do. I don't think those are important enough.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Those are like those cheeky little stats. And damn it, Corey, every single time I say something is like interesting or weird, I've been saying cheeky so much.
In your vocabulary.
That's like one of those little.
It has seriously been ingrained just because of you. Anyway, that's like one of those stats that they pop up in the middle of like WCS or the
Twitter here.
Middle of, like little bars at the bottom that kind of pop up. I'm thinking about like the StarCraft 2. You have a small tab in your top left that has like 6 sets of stats that you're going to need for every map.
Okay, that's a good point. So let me ask you, do you feel as though the maps that we have right now tell their story well enough that you don't really need any map-specific stats? Yes. Okay. You guys both feel
I think, I mean, coins and seeds and Dragon Shrine, not even Dragon Shrine. I think there's a lot of other stats that I think are a lot more important that will foster, is that the word I'm looking for? They'll help people be better at the game and like think about the game in a different way than just like map specific things like those jungle camp stats, like the staying in lane stats, the damage burst at certain level stats. Like those will be completely irrelevant of what map it is. I mean, maybe the jungle camps one is a little bit dependent on how many jungle camps are actually on the map. Yeah. But even then, I think you still be able to get like a pretty good idea of like how important jungle camps are, or maybe not so important. And maybe on some maps you can show that it's not that important on this map.
Like if you compare it to like League of Legends, how the team fights. Like, as a newer player, you may not understand the impact that doing Dragon does or doing the Golem does, but since Heroes of the Storm is so objective-based, taking the coins, getting the siege camps, I don't think they don't need any extra emphasis on putting those out, because the game does it for yourself. Like, the players and stuff are doing it for themselves. It'd be cool as a player to learn, or like to improve your team's stats, then yes, those would be nice. But from a viewer's point, no.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
We'll see. And I mean, maybe if we figure out later on that we do really need those stats, but I think right now, I think it's the more important things are like the hard mechanics of this game, aside from the map specific objectives. And I think that should be something that should be driven home, because those are things that you can take away, and every map you'll have something that you've learned. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. I have one more point to make. And that is, I think that they have the stats laid out right now is hero damage, siege damage, and heals. I think that it's not very fair to a few types of heroes, and I would like to see. I'd like to see a stat for tanks, and I'd like to see a stat for like people that do a lot of stun. So like amount of stun time dealt would be a really nice stat to have.
I think that would be a good stat to have, like for the out-of-game screen, because when you leave a game in StarCraft 2, you have these huge graphs. You can look up so many different stats.
Yeah,
I think those kind of stats would be great for out of the game, but for like in-game stuff, I think they should keep it simple like they have it. But definitely, there's no such thing as like bad information. Like having access to as much information as you can have to improve as a player, anything at all. Like, oh, look at, because I took this talent, now I have an average extra 30-second stuns on 30-second stun time on Uther now because I took this talent versus this talent. You know, any stat like that is good for the game, just not for casting. You wouldn't need to know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem with damage received is that a lot of people can like use that as a way to attack teammates. Like, look how much more damage you're taking than the rest of us. That's why we're losing. Like anything that can be, like, I mean, you can argue that like when someone's low on damage done, that can attack them, but damage received specifically is like, wow, you're on Vala and you've taken twice the amount of damage than our tank. You're shit. Get out of my game. I mean, you're crap. Get out of my game. Anything like that. It's a long show. It's already 10 o'clock, guys.
I actually, yeah, I'm not sure that I really like all the damage and done and the healing done and all that stuff in the game. I think it clutters up that screen a lot. I think experience. The experience one is the important one that I like. That's really the only one that I really monitor throughout an entire game. Well, yeah, but that's something you can see at the end of your game. No, you don't.
And then he's just gonna start slamming blink heal when they're like at 98%. You know, you gotta pad those numbers, man.
Because I mean, I agree. Like those are things that, you know, I play mostly warriors, and even though my Arthas on average, you know, destroys other assassins in damage right now because Arthas so hashtag balance. Yeah, I just did that. Yeah, I just did it. Hashtag balance. I did it ironically because I'm a hipster. Anyway,
Yes, you will.
Anyway, I think that those are things that I don't really have to worry about until the end of the game. Like where I can look back and be like, wow, their Malfurion healed way more than my Arthas healed myself. No, that's impossible. But you know, these are things that I don't really ever pay attention to in the middle of the match. Maybe it does matter to other people, but like, what are you gonna do in the middle of the match? You're like, wow, man, I'm not really doing that much damage. Maybe I should do more damage. Sorry, I don't die, so you know.
I like stats that have...
Noobland die a lot, so you have to keep yourself occupied.
I don't think they should take the stats we have out in game. They should leave those in. Adding any more of those should be after the game with graphs and stuff.
No, that's all I have. I think you guys did a good job discussing that. So
Boom.
On the spot. Oh God, you're gonna. Okay, you know what? That's your homework assignment. Come up with a better power down sound. God. Oh no.
Anyway.
Oh, I see what you did. Rude.
Rude. All right, that's it for Cooby's question.
Okay, cool. So let's go quickly over what's going on at PAX Prime. Do we have more information? Because you mentioned that, but like we're gonna go over like a PAX Prime preview, and I was like, did we see more information?
No, we're just, I'm just gonna say right now, I don't know how long I was muted for. I just realized I was muted. Offline shows are the worst shows ever. They're actually,
Oh my god, what was this like for an hour?
no, it wasn't for an hour. I know when I muted myself, so it was probably just for that segment. Nothing important was said.
That whole segment.
Whole segment, the whole Cooby's question segment.
I think it was towards the end of it. I pulled up something for PAX Prime, so hopefully it wasn't too much.
I he was like kind of dodging the question. He's like, well, you know, he was like, yeah, it was the whole thing. Moving on.
So yes, to all the viewers, I do apologize. It's been offline shows just ruin everything. Blame Lizard Squad for DDoSing my microphone, and yes, that's a thing that happened. Everyone is face palming.
Now nobody has any idea why Zoya is Zola.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just randomly superimposed with some other person. Nobody has. Ooh, wow, that's really trippy. That's really trippy. Please stop.
Anyways, yeah, my sincere apologies on that. The last thing we're just going to talk about is the quote-unquote PAX Prime Preview. It's nothing other than saying, hey, look, we're excited it's happening, reminding you guys that this is something that's happening this weekend, so make sure you guys stay tuned. They're going to be doing some live stream show matches and stuff. I think it's actually twitch.tv/twitch. It might be twitch.tv/Heroes of the Storm. I could be wrong. But definitely keep your eyes out. That's happening Friday. I think at 10 a.m. PDT is the first show match. But we got these three guys playable. We got Chen, Asmodon, and Anub Arak. Those are the three new heroes that will be playable. I know CSC will be there reporting live, trying them all out, tweeting a lot. So follow him on Twitter to see what he's up to and see what he thinks about the new heroes, because I don't know anybody else that's going. But beyond that, I mean, do you guys think we're going to see them unveil other new heroes? Because we've seen these guys at Gamescom. We've seen a little bit of them here and there from China Joy and stuff like that. Do you think they're going to unveil other new stuff?
Based on what you were saying about how they're not actually being a panel, I'm less inclined to think so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Hopefully I wasn't muted for that segment of the show where I said that.
I mean, the whole community team is going out. I know Trixlayer and Katie and Spirian are all going. Kalis are all going. So, I mean, I guess they're going to be doing some fun things. But
insider information, though.
I'm not.
They tweeted that out. They tweeted that out.
I'm kidding. I just wanted to.
I got actually really.
He was sweating a bit.
I mean, I'd be shocked if we learned anything new from it. I think what we're going to see at PAX is the same builds we saw at Gamescom. I don't think it's going to be anything different.
Cool. Yeah, let's actually just take some quick community questions from Reddit. Kev, you got some for us?
Yeah, so I think I only have one that I think we really can tackle, because I know we are a little bit running over in time.
Yep.
But Hellsbolt actually asked a really cool question. I think it's very, very pertinent to recently. And the question is, question for all. I'm sure that this will be brought up at some time during the show, but just in case it does not, are you guys liking the new Hotslog website? Not just for accurate MMR reading.
Why are we bringing publicity to this site? That's
Anyway, not just for accurate MMR readings, but for being able to go back and see your win percentage and all of the stats that it provides. Because I, for one, am loving it. Thanks all for having a great show. Signed. Oh, actually, apparently it's X-Havoc. So, I mean, this is actually a really interesting question, because I know there are very differing opinions upon it. I know that some people are like, wow, I'm rated completely terrible, so now I'm only going to play OP heroes. Sham too. And I know Zoya doesn't like it because it kind of makes people think that way. So what are your guys' opinions on it?
I mean, if anyone takes the MMR system on that site any seriously at all, like at all seriously, they're being silly. You'll see some of the top players so low, just so low. The actual stat tracking itself, getting to see my win rates on heroes, win rates on maps, that is awesome. I love that feature. I hope we see more of like either sites or more community things like to develop around that, because I think there's so much cool stuff you can learn.
Yep.
But for the actual MMR system, I don't think anyone is, like, even the people like who are taking it seriously aren't taking it like super seriously. They know.
No, I just want to preface, like, it's a really cool idea and it's a really cool resource, and the guy did a lot of work for it. But it's just like in terms of actual like validation, like this is the highest ranked player in the world. It's really skewed. There's so many like inconsistencies involved, and like it's definitely not like what the actual ladder would look like. I think that's probably the issue. So I see like why a lot of people criticize it, but overall it's an awesome tool. I mean, it's just a really, really cool thing to have, and I love to be able to go back and look at my match history and see my win rates with heroes and stuff like that. Like that's freaking amazing, honestly.
If they sit down the MMR portion, I would think the site's perfect. Like there's so much good from it, but the MMR thing is throwing a lot off, like for people's mindsets and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it could evolve into something once actual MMRs become like stabilized and stuff. I think as a very a solid place in the community where it could evolve to be something amazing. So I just want to say personally, I think what they're doing is awesome. I get why people criticize it, but I think it's a really cool tool to have.
One of the major feedbacks I saw like from a lot of people was like, no more fun games. I'm not like, and they're seriously saying that because
it's come on, it's alpha. I mean.
But people take that seriously. Like, there's at least a few people out there who are like, let's look up the town hall people and let's see where they're ranked. Like, they're going to do that seriously. And of course, we know that it's not serious, and all the people that like know it. But there are people that will, and
that's fine.
So, I mean, I haven't been to the site in like a week.
Kev's got to say these solo queues.
I gotta say something, is that when these were started, I was below Zoya, but then I've played nothing but Arthas and Tychus. Now I'm above Zoya, so that's all I gotta say. That's why.
Witch Doctor, so...
Part of the problem, Kevin.
I am part of the problem. I will admit that. Evil Kevin comes out.
I am so close to mastered with Murky. I just want to throw it out there. I've been playing a lot of Murky. He's my favorite.
Alright.
And you'll, of course, make use of that Master Murky skin, right?
Oh, absolutely, when it finally comes out.
Yeah.
after the alpha wipe.
No Witch Doctor Master skin, no Murky Master skin. I'm salty, man. Yeah. I gotta get my Witch Doctor Master skin soon.
Mr. Omega Black Cooby, how do you feel about it?
my first question when someone was explaining the system to me, I looked at it and I was just like, well, what's to stop someone from just uploading their wins? And they're like, well, there isn't anything. It's like, oh, okay. End of story.
Chance that, the exclusive...
Apparently...
there's... Yeah, you can upload all of your wins, and yeah, you might not catch all of their losses, but if everybody's uploading their replays, especially because people who have uploaded all of their replays are all the scrim people. So you can, for the most part, you can assume that all the games that they also lost are going to be uploaded too, especially if they're all on the same MMR level. Like, I don't know.
Right. No, but there still are...
Yeah, no. There's definitely the chance that people have only...
I said...
Good luck trying to figure out which games you've won and which games you've lost, because there's no actual, like, in your file names, it doesn't actually have that up there. And if you've uploaded all of your games, then yeah.
You're investing way too much time.
This guy has written a program to analyze it. Doesn't, I mean, if they really want to go through the effort of it, someone else could do it independently.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares that much.
Sat through, program something in VBA to figure out which games they won, and then only upload those games through this guy's tool. Props to them, because they...
Yep, they deserve to be on the top.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was my first concern when I saw it. And it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and apparently there's a system inside of it where... Like, if multiple people, like, it requires multiple uploads of the replay. So, like, say, like, I guess for, like, if an individual solo queue player who's not playing by themselves, then I guess, yeah, you can get away with that. But for top players, like, it doesn't matter if I uploaded a replay. If ZPS and, I guess Kev were here, like, destroyed me in, like, 6 games. I didn't upload any of them, but they both did. It'll go to my stats, because, it says Zoya there, and it's able to read that. So, like, I guess there's ways around it, but it's an exploitable system. There are exploits there, and anytime that's the case, people are going to try and exploit it, and, I mean, the stats are cool. I like the fact that I saw my Arthas win rate was at, like, 81%. I thought that was sick, and that I get to see those win rates. Yeah, I'm fluffing myself. 81% win rate on Arthas. I'm hyped, but,
you like the shirt? Solid.
That is actually pretty cool.
That's pretty solid. That's solid.
Liquidus. Cool. Well, I think we kind of covered that pretty well, and I think we are actually out of time, so let's move on to the final part where we just give our shout-out. Started with you, Jared.
Yeah, so follow me at IBD Zoya. You can check out IBD Gaming. We are very close to being full-fledged into Heroes of the Storm. We are in talks with a certain team. Something may come up soon, hopefully before the next episode, at least within 2 episodes. It is very close to happening, though, so that's cool. That IBD is showing interest in the game. Kev and I are starting a show match series. We are doing a King of the Hill. It's going to be a weekly series. However, I just got confirmation 5 minutes ago that makes me really sad that we were originally going to do it this Thursday. It's going to probably be delayed a week, though. Yeah. But we are starting a King of the Hill series, though. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be every week. Best of 3, winner's team stays. More details will be posted later. But we're excited about that. Again, if this VOD if you happen to watch this VOD before tomorrow, before Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, I will be casting with Idra over at the ESV Championship Series, Mr. Solid Jake, and I hope you guys find the VOD for those who just watch on live stream. We miss you so much, chat. I'm done.
Mr. Pretty over there.
He's no longer here.
Yeah, he left, Jake.
Other Mr. Pretty.
Anyway, free week. I gotta post out another tweet about the poll. I mean, it's probably gonna be Cigar looking at the poll so far. Free week's gonna be tomorrow, so you can catch. Or no, so it's not gonna be tomorrow because I've got other things to do. Thursday. It's probably gonna be recorded on Thursday. So YouTube.com/Shamtoo SCHAMTOO. I'm gonna be trying to get more content out there. Like, it was about middle of last week when I was just like, man, I want to put out more Heroes content because Town Hall is still like another half a week away, and I want to do more things. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm coming up with a couple of things and talking to a couple of people, but we'll see what actually goes through. So yeah, YouTube.com/Shamtoo SCHAMTOO. I've gained a ton of subscribers, so thanks to all those subscribers who have subscribed in the last couple of weeks. Very happy about all of that. The iTunes rating has also been going sky high. We are now like 2nd ranked if you type in Heroes of the Storm into
That's
iTunes.
Awesome.
So thank you very much, guys, for who have actually put in a rating. One guy put down the comment that Zoya makes him remember to shower, so that's cool.
I did read that one.
So if you're listening on iTunes, thank you so much for doing that, and continue to give us awesome ratings if you keep listening. Then yeah, you can just follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/SCHAMTOO Shamtoo.
Coobs!
Woo. Okay, so yeah, we put out another Duo Q video, Sonia Malf, Jake and I did, so you can check that out. I'm going to plug it for you, Jake.
Wow.
YouTube.com/SolidJakeGG. Let's see, what else is going on? Yeah, so we're going to be probably recording another one, I'm hoping tomorrow. We could have done it tonight, but we're getting some serious DDoS for Blizzard here, so that's no good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then other than that, just follow me at Omega Blackmage and Twitch TV/Omega Blackmage.
21 followers from 100 people. Make it happen before episode 2. We can do it.
Amazing.
This is my Cooby follower dance.
Similar to the Cooby's question dance. I like it.
Well, a lot of big changes going on for me right now. Like I said at the beginning of the show, this is in fact the last time you guys will be seeing my wall and the chair in this apartment. Next week I'll probably be at my parents' house because I am abandoning New York. I'm abandoning Kevin and everything here. I'll be going to my parents' place to I guess
I will remember you.
Figure out the next steps. You're going to be seeing me doing a lot more Heroes of the Storm content as a result because I'll have a lot of free time in the coming weeks. So I'm going to be literally streaming full-time, probably 40 plus hours a week of Heroes streaming. Moving over to twitch.tv/SolidJakeGG is a brand new channel. So do me a massive favor and hit that follow button. And I made my channel look pretty. I think it looks pretty good right now. We got some little buttons at the bottom and stuff like that.
Is it as pretty as Careion?
Careion. He was pretty. Gotta say. So yeah, I mean, some big changes going on in my life. Some cool stuff happening down in the future. I may or may not be moving into Cooby's basement, where you will see us doing a lot of stuff together. We're talking about doing live casts together. We'll do Duo Q live. Cooby's Kitty will come bombard my stream. We'll have, it's looking very likely, and if that happens, you can expect like way more than just like tournament casting. Like we'd probably just start our own tournament at that point. Yeah, I mean, if we have the opportunity to do something like that, studio environment, we're just gonna make it. So stay tuned for that, and I guess that covers it for me. YouTube, SolidJakeGG, Twitter, SolidJakeGG, and Twitch, SolidJakeGG. The consistency is so real, so real. All right, guys.
And you can email him at jakesbigsnake@yahoo.com.
No. Well.
What a way to end the show, guys.
Offline shows are.
That's episode 28, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in next week, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EDT. This is all of us from Town Hall signing off. And Jake, please cut this so I can continue laughing.
You did.